Welcome back to our 9 o'clock hour of Nite Line. I am Mary Sloan, along with my daughter.
Toni Suchka.
She's a beautiful daughter, too, isn't she?
Toni Sloan Suchka.
Toni Sloan Suchka. This is our ladies' night tonight, y'all, and we call it A Vision in Every Woman. And if you saw the first hour, you knew that two of these ladies already have shown you what a vision they have, and we have another one that's getting ready to
We'll be sharing.
Yes,
in this last half
hour.
hour, Katie Mize is going to be sharing a little bit of her heart as well.
Beautiful ladies, aren't they?
Yeah, so we have JoAnna Butler that shared in our first hour, and Logan Wolfram. So it's been a good
Yes.
night, right?
It has.
And we
It's
had
been a
cake
great-
earlier for Logan's
For my
birthday.
birthday.
So really quick, before I know that Brittany and Anna is going to sing. We have Brittany Baughman and Anna Foltz that are singing. They have beautiful voices, and they're going to sing again. But before they do, today is a big day for Logan as well. Not only her birthday, but also a launch of your new podcast.
I have a new
So
podcast.
tell us the name of it. We have a graphic that we're going to pop up so people can see. Tell us the name and quickly what it is about.
Okay, so it's called The Misadventures of Lolo and May. My friend Sarah May, she is an author and speaker as well, and she has a new book coming out actually called The Complicated Heart next month. But anyways, we decided to do a podcast together. We've been friends for 9 years, I guess, and a lot of our friendship kind of happened online because we ran a conference together for a while. And really we were just talking about kind of what we're talking about tonight, just that we feel like friendship in this day and age, you know, like people are keeping up friendships with emoji conversations, and that's just really not how it's going to work to keep
Yeah.
a friendship alive. And so we decided to kind of pull the veil back on our friendship a little bit. And so each podcast is, we're basically drawing topics out of a hat, and we're just kind of riffing on them a little bit, because I think that that's what friendship looks like so much. It's jumping around topics, and it's laughing together and having a good time and holding each other accountable. And so that is what that is.
That's
So
awesome. And those are
Misadventures
your,
of
like,
Lolo
your
and
grandma
May.
names, right?
That's our grandma names, yeah. We decided one time that that's what we're going to be called when we're grandmoms. And so, you know, and misadventures, because don't we all know that real friendship that lasts a while, most of your adventures happen to be a little misadventure.
Yeah.
sometimes, too. Nothing ever goes
And
quite
when
like
you're
you
actually together one-on-one, I love what you said. So many friendships think that they can just take place through a text or,
Yeah.
you know, a Vox. There has to be time to where you're real together.
where
know,
you laugh
and you're-
so hard that
you're
you
doing
cry,
things
and then you're
together.
really crying,
Yeah.
and then you're really laughing again, and that's what it really looks
So
like.
if someone
isn't it?
is looking to hear your podcast, how do they go about it?
It's on iTunes.
On
So you can go on
iTunes.
iTunes.
Awesome.
And we're working on getting it on all the other podcast apps.
Fun.
But yeah, so it's
That's
live
awesome.
today. Yeah, thank you.
Well, before we get to talking to Katie Mize, we are going to have a song by Brittany and Anna called New Wine.
In the crushing, in the pressing, you are making new wine. In the soil, I'm now surrendered. You are breaking new ground. So I yield to you and to your careful hand. When I trust you, I don't need to understand. So make me a vessel, make me an offering, make me whatever you want me to be. God, I came here with nothing but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new make me your vessel. Make me an offering. Make me whatever you want me to be. God, I came here with nothing but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me.
And we are back. We're going to be talking with Katie Mize, and she has, we're going to kind of shift the topic a little bit tonight because Katie has a story that I really wanted her to share. We met many years ago at Church, just like I met all of you. And we've been in each other's lives over the years at different seasons, at different levels, and where the same thing with JoAnna, would see you or maybe not, but always felt like we could just pick up where we left off. And I've always loved and admired your discerning spirit and your fun-loving heart. And I feel like whenever I ask you something, I've always admired that you sit and I can see you're thinking about how you even want to answer someone or what you want to say. And I love that because sometimes we speak before we think. And, those words we can't take back.
Right.
So I've always loved that about you. When I met you, you had one little boy. Now you have 3 kids, and I want to show a picture of them. You have Zeke, Hannibal, and Link. Look at that.
Oh,
Now I remember you had Zeke when I met you.
Yes, the
Hannibal,
oldest.
you got Link. I remember when he was a little baby, Addison wanted to steal him and take him home.
He was so cute.
He
and
was.
chubby.
He had
so mushy.
big hair,
Oh,
just chunky
big hair, big
cheeks.
cheeks.
And there's your husband. He's helped out too, Chris.
Yeah, he's all right. He's laughing so hard.
So all of your kids were adopted.
Yes, they were.
So share with us what led you to adopt in the first place.
So when I was 16, after a long, what it was about, I didn't just go to a doctor and say, you can't have kids. But there was a long process, long enough for a 16-year-old to go through, 6 months or so. And they said, you're never going to be able to have kids. You have ovarian failure. They've never worked. And we're going to have to do hormone therapy. We're going to have to you just have to know you're going to be on these medications for the rest of your life, and you're not going to be able to have kids. So as a 16-year-old, I think what I went into was just this shock. I went into such shock. Then I think I just stuffed it down for a long time and tried not to think about it. And it wasn't until really, I think I was in college that I wasn't real involved with the ministry of Young Life when I was in college. And through that ministry, I met different families when I worked at camps in the summer times in Colorado. And I met families that had adopted. And I hadn't really known anyone who adopted personally. And so I saw these families who had been built around adoption. And I think the Lord started opening up my heart and really that is when he just started opening my heart for healing, because the healing needed to happen first, because I felt so broken and so less than any other woman or girl, and thought nobody's ever going to love me because I'm like a Franken woman, that's just broken. And so that was my story. Insecurity. I was so insecure, and I was a good girl, but and I knew the Lord. I grew up in church and had a relationship with him, but I didn't know him as my father who loved me. And so that is
It's heavy, though, to be 16 and be told something.
Yeah,
It's like really life-changing.
it is. And now the older I get, the more I'm like 16. Like, that's like,
That's almost my daughter's age.
yeah. And I'm like,
when
that,
you're away.
it was rough. It was really rough just navigating that. And really, I didn't really start navigating it until I was married even, until I was out of college.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe, I don't even know how you could comprehend that at that age.
Yeah.
So you just really didn't.
Because at that
completely.
point, you're just, I'm going to school, I'm making friends. Like, that's not, of course, I want to get married one day and have a family, but that's not like the path
that's
you're on in
so
the
far
season that
away.
you're in.
And
Like
I've
learning
always
how to
been
drive.
right. And I was I was always a thinker, real fun, like real out there and silly, but a thinker too.
Like I said, you're a thinker and you're fun-loving.
Just like Tony said. But I really felt like I was flawed. I had this really deep flaw, and that maybe, I mean, the enemy just took hold of that lie and he ran with it, and just tried to destroy me little by little. But the Lord was so faithful. My mom and my dad are so strong and have always loved me. My grandparents, my family, cousins and a sister who've always loved me really well. And even the Lord continues. He always put people in my path. I mean, at college, there were mentors in college. They've given me like amazing friends that have helped me see like who I really am in the Lord and like God as a loving Father. You know.
So when you were a young girl, did you ever daydream about, having kids? And that was like, I know personally for my daughter, like she loves a baby.
Yeah.
She talks about, she's already named him. She's going to adopt one African-American little boy.
she's already adopted.
she's named him.
She's already adopted them.
She's going to have 2 of this. She's going to adopt one. And I'm like, she just loves him. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking for a young woman who has these, goals and these desires, and then
Well,
to be told.
As funny as it is, now I am crazy about kids. I love kids so much. But at the time, when I was a teenager, I had a lot of cousins that were younger that were around a lot, and they were enough for me. And I was kind of like, I don't really care if I don't have kids. But that was hurt. It was hurt speaking. I wasn't one that ever planned out, like I loved baby dolls, but I wasn't ever one that planned out her wedding or planned out, kids. And I think part of that was I just felt like maybe that wouldn't be mine. And so I could have a tendency to not think about things if I think they aren't attainable. If that makes sense. Like if I can't have that, I'm not even going to think about it and tempt myself with it because I don't want to be disappointed. So
Yeah.
it was like self-protection is really what it is.
And so really not even dealing with that, you said, until you got married.
Yes.
Until it was real and like, what are we going to do now?
I mean, talk about great first, second date. I told my husband very early on, I was like, here's the deal.
Yeah.
You can't have kids. Because I was still so hurting. I was still such a, they say people can walk out hurts constantly and you're just living your day just walking out hurt instead of becoming more whole and healed. And I did not want to get 6 months down the road and then him be like, what?
Deal breaker.
I can't do this. And so he was like, gave me back a very, very amazingly sweet chick flick response when I told him that I couldn't have kids.
You complete me.
I know I don't even know you, but you do.
had
No,
me.
but
Hello.
he said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me.
Now, how
Doesn't
long were you
define-
married before you adopted your first?
We were married for 2.5 years before we adopted our first. And so we've always just said whatever. My grandmother, wise woman that she was, she told me, she said, the Lord knows your babies. I don't have any stipulations on color or skin tone or gender. Just let him decide who your child is. And so that's why we've always just gone into it open-handed.
Did you adopt them all at babies?
They were 2 weeks old, 9 months old, and Link, we fostered to adopt him, and we got him straight out of the hospital.
Wow.
He was like right out.
Right
I
out.
remember meeting him when he was like 2
Yes.
days old.
So it's been really sweet, and even it has been really hard. It's been the hardest thing I've ever had to do because even at 9 months, it is hard.
Yeah.
That baby has had a chance to go through a lot of attachment and a lot of lack of attachment and a lot of trauma, and there's been a lot of hard things that we've walked through as a family and still continue to do so. It's definitely the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But it's also been something that has given me pictures of grace, deep grace,
Yeah.
and pictures constantly of who Father is and what he's like.
Well, I know you've done a lot of healing and through
Yes.
pictures.
Yes, through art.
Yeah, so I wanted you to share a little bit how the Lord has restored you and healed that brokenness from your art. And we've got some pictures that you sent me that we were going to share as well. But share with our viewers a little bit about your art.
So I grew up very creative, I was either in the trees or making something. And so, but as I grew up, again, when you struggle with insecurity, the enemy will love to take hold of anything and tell you that's not for you. And I just felt like I wasn't artsy. I felt like I wasn't for art. That wasn't who I was. And so I let insecurity allow me not to step into art. But the Lord started bringing me into just drawing and painting with him while I would listen to worship music. Or I would be praying for someone and I would see like a picture in my head and I would just ask the Lord to help me put it on paper and I'd give it to people as encouragement. And I did that for years and years and years, and one thing led to another, and I had a friend say, hey, do you think you could draw a house for me to give to the people that we're buying our house from? And I'm like, sure, I think I could maybe do that. And so I just, and I don't like to put my art out there because it's been something that's so sweet. It's communion between me and the Lord, and it's been very vulnerable and hard for me to put my art out there, but I have begun. It's neat to see how something the Lord used to heal me, now he's using to financially bless us. I was able to paint a mural at Mitchell Road Elementary School on the wall.
So good.
That
in
is
downtown Greenville.
beautiful.
And I paint houses.
That's
I
at your
paint-
kids, like the school
Yeah, that's
there.
their school they go to.
And I love these. This is an ornament. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for a custom gift for a friend that's coming up
ceramic
this
ornaments I
season,
paint.
that's
So
beautiful,
I've just put
Katie.
houses on all kind of things. My art studio is called Sarah's House Studio, and I don't just paint houses. I paint all kinds of things, but it's just been really sweet and redemptive for me.
Well, I love one of the, you gave me a card for my birthday, and it just was your beautiful handwriting and painting, and it said, not today.
Yeah.
And I loved it because it was like, whatever you're going through, the enemy is not going to get you today, not today.
That's right.
Then I stamped it on one of those bracelets, and I wear it
Yes.
almost every day. I look down, and it says, not today.
I love that.
So I love it. I look at it, and I'll go, not
And
today,
tomorrow
Satan.
becomes
Yeah.
today, huh?
That's
Again.
right.
All right, well, we're going to have Brittany and Anna sing another song called Extravagant.
You were a lover before time's beginning. You gave your love freely, withholding nothing. Jesus, my Jesus, you carried the weight of the world on your shoulders. You stopped at nothing to prove you were for us, Jesus, my Jesus. It's extravagant, it doesn't make sense, I'll never comprehend the way you love us. It's unthinkable, only heaven knows just how far you'd go to say you love us, to say you love us, to say Here is all my love. It's yours, no conditions. When you pull me close, no, I won't resist it. Here is all my love. It's yours, no conditions. When you pull me close, no, I won't resist it. Here is all my love. It's yours, no conditions. When you pull me close, no, I won't resist it. No, I won't resist it. It's extravagant. It doesn't make sense. We'll never comprehend the way you love us. It's unthinkable. Only heaven knows just how far you go to say you love us, 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 to say you love us.
Beautiful song. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've had a great time with all these ladies, and we get prayer requests in here all week long, and there's so many people that have called in for healing. There's somebody having problems with their leg, somebody needing healing for cancer. So we want to pray over all these needs tonight. don't we?
I do, where we can all agree together. The word says when two or more agree on any one thing, it shall be done. And we just are going to agree with you. And I also wanted to ask you, Katie, just to, you can look in the camera, speak to those who may be experiencing something, what you went through. I mean, that was huge to find out at such a young age that you couldn't have children. And I know that there's many that have adopted or maybe going through that process, wondering why it hasn't already happened, or, you know. So just speak to them and bless them and pray over them.
Yes. Father God, we just come before you. We lift you up. We thank you for being a Father who cares for us, and a Father who sees all of our needs, for a Father who is a Father that maybe we didn't have before. I pray that you would touch our friends and listeners, that you would remind them that they are loved and valued and accepted, that no plans of the enemy will conquer, that you are a God who heals and delivers and sets free, and you desire good things for us. And you have so many more plans that we could ever imagine. Your ways are higher and deeper, and we thank you for your love. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you being with us. Thank you, ladies, for being here. Be sure to go ahead and share this on Facebook. I know that someone could be very blessed by what the ladies shared on friendship, by Katie's story. So go ahead and share that, and we just pray healing and blessings over your night tonight. And thank y'all for being here.
Thanks for having us.
And happy birthday, Logan.
Thank you.